The outcome of these elections are going to be really significant when it comes to U.S. defense, impact on the defense industry, on manufacturing, on defense policy. If we have a Harris administration, we will see something similar, I would guess, to what we've seen under President Biden, engagement and investment in defense with our allies. If we see a Trump administration, then we're going to see a more isolationist foreign policy and likely potentially less spending on defense. Although I would say the outcome of the congressional elections will probably be the real decider when it comes to the defense industry. I think regardless of the outcome of the U.S. elections, the U.S. allies in Europe and Asia trying to be a little less reliant on the United States when it comes to defense industry and certainly when it comes to policy. They've received a real scare during the Trump administration and the first Trump administration, and so they will be really looking to figure out how can they stand on their own, either to wait out a Trump administration, to essentially counter a Trump administration that may be working against their interests. And so, even if we have a Harris administration, I think the worry that has already been kind of put out there and has already motivated Europeans to work to be more self-sufficient, better with one another, and same for the Asians, will continue. So I think we will see more efforts by our allies to build up their own industry and, frankly, to help partners like Ukraine build up theirs. Trump's foreign policy approach is frankly to applaud our adversaries. We saw that when President Biden was able to secure, along with the German Chancellor and many other allies, to secure the release of Americans, 16 Americans and Russians and other nationals from the Russian government in a prisoner exchange. And President Trump praised President Putin, the guy who was holding these people, American citizens and others, with no good reason. He praised President Putin, and that's the kind of approach, unfortunately, that President Trump takes. He praises our adversaries. So if he were reelected, it would be very difficult for the United States to maintain a tough foreign policy, although I believe that there are Republicans and Democrats in Congress, certainly, who would attempt to do that. It just would be a lot more rocky, and our adversaries will look wherever possible to come between, frankly, Congress and the kind of core bipartisan foreign policy consensus and President Trump, which we've seen them do in the past. So China will be emboldened, Russia will be emboldened, Iran, of course, and North Korea. And our allies will be watching and they will be concerned. They already have expressed a great deal of anxiety when it comes to our elections because they view President Trump as being opposed to alliances, opposed to partnerships, and very isolationist to a point where it runs counter to their interests and, frankly, for many Americans, counter to American interests.